You are going to watch this whole video, and somewhere in the middle of it, you are going to stop and go, wait, that is literally my life right now. I am not guessing. I have seen the comments. I have read the Reddit threads at 2 a.m. from people writing paragraphs they never planned to write, trying to explain something they could not name. Something that felt off, but looked completely fine from the outside. Because here is the thing about control that nobody tells you. The loud, obvious version, the screaming, the hitting, the "you are not allowed to leave this house," that is the version they make movies about. That is the version people recognize. But there is another version, a quieter one. And quiet control does not look like a villain. It looks like someone who loves you so much, it makes them a little anxious. Someone who just wants to know you are safe. Someone who has been hurt before and needs a bit of reassurance. Someone who would literally do anything for you. Right? Let me tell you about Mia. Mia is 22. She is in a relationship for about 8 months, and when people ask her how it is going, she says, great. Because it looks great. Her boyfriend texts her good morning every day. He remembers the name of her childhood dog. He cried watching her favorite show with her. He tells her she is the most beautiful person he has ever been with. He means it, she thinks. He has to mean it. But here is what Mia does not say when people ask her how it is going. She says she is not really feeling like herself lately. She feels tired in a way she cannot explain. She has canceled on her friends 3 times this month, and she is not entirely sure why. She used to post on her Instagram every few days, little things, sunsets, coffee, the corner of a book she was reading. She has not posted in 2 months. She does not know exactly when she stopped. She just did. When she is with him, she feels this low-level hum of anxiety she cannot locate. Not because he yells at her. He never yells. It is more like she is always, constantly, doing a small calculation in her head. Should I say this? Will this start something? Is this the wrong thing to order? Does he seem okay right now? What did that silence mean? She did not used to do this. She knows she did not. But she cannot remember exactly when she started. That is quiet control, and it is everywhere right now. So in this video, we are going to name it. Every single tactic, every single way it shows up. Not in the 1950s, not in some other person's life, in your DMs, in your story views, in your group chat, in the "babe, you are not seriously posting that" conversation you have had more than once. Stay with me, because some of this is going to be uncomfortable, and the uncomfortable parts are the most important ones. Number 1. Jealousy that is dressed up as love. Here is the script. See if any of it sounds familiar. I just care about you so much it kind of drives me crazy. I am not jealous, I just do not like the way he looks at you. You know why I get like this? Because I actually love you. Most guys would not even care. Do you see what is happening there? The jealousy is being repackaged as proof of depth, as devotion, as "I love you so much that your freedom makes me physically uncomfortable, and somehow that is your fault, and also a compliment." Gen Z calls this out more than any generation before, and I want to give credit for that. There is real progress in how clearly young people are naming jealousy as a red flag instead of a green one. But here is what still gets through the filter, because it has evolved. Covert jealousy in 2026 does not look like dramatic accusations or phone snatching. It looks like checking who liked your last post within 30 seconds of you posting it, not saying anything about it, just mentioning it a day later, casually. That guy from your old job liked your thing again. Going quiet when you mention a friend's name, not saying anything overtly wrong, just going a bit flat, detached, and you notice. And then you start editing yourself. You stop mentioning that name. Making a comment about what you are wearing when you are heading out with friends. Not forbidding anything, just, "You look nice." Very nice. And the way they say it makes you want to change. A 2024 Reddit thread that went viral had someone write, and I'm paraphrasing here, "I didn't realize my ex was controlling my wardrobe until I went shopping by myself for the first time after we broke up and genuinely didn't know what I liked anymore. I kept thinking, would he be okay with this? And then I realized he wasn't even there." That is what quiet jealousy does over time. It does not lock the wardrobe. It just makes you lock it yourself. Number 2. They make you the keeper of their emotions. This one is subtle. So subtle, it often feels like love. Here's how it starts. This person is vulnerable with you early. maybe too early. They tell you about their childhood, their trauma, how badly people have hurt them before. It creates intimacy. You feel chosen. You feel trusted. You feel like maybe, just maybe, you are the one who finally sees them. And then, slowly, you start to feel responsible for those things, for their past, for their current mood, for whether they have a good day or a bad one. Here's a real scenario. You go out with your friends for the night. You do not text for a few hours because you are actually having a good time. You come home and they are quiet. Not angry, just withdrawn. And they say something like, "It is fine. It is just hard for me. You know what I have been through." And suddenly, you are apologizing for having a good night, for being unavailable for 3 hours, for existing independently for an evening. This is called emotional coercion by therapists, and it is one of the most common patterns in quiet control because it does not feel like control. It feels like being loved by someone who needs you, and needing someone feels like love. We have been told it feels like love. The movies told us that. But there is a difference between someone who shares their vulnerability with you and someone who deploys their vulnerability against you. Sharing is, "I sometimes get anxious when I don't hear from people. Can we talk about how to handle that?" Deploying is silence, withdrawal, the haunted look, which leaves you doing the emotional work of figuring out what you did wrong and fixing it, without any direct conversation happening at all. The second one is a system, and once you are in the system, you start pre-managing their emotions. You text more frequently than you want to, so they are not anxious. You decline invitations so there is no risk. You stop expressing things that you know will trigger a bad mood. You are not in a relationship anymore. You are in a management role you never applied for. Number 3, the social media panopticon. Okay, so this one is very 2026, and I need you to sit with it. There is a concept called the Panopticon. It is from philosophy, originally about prisons, but stay with me. It describes a structure where prisoners could be watched at any moment, so they start to self-monitor, not because they are being watched right now, but because they might be. Social media has created a romantic panopticon, and quiet controllers use it incredibly effectively. Here's what it looks like. They follow all of your followers, not in a transparent, "we both follow the same people" way, in a strategic, "I can see who is engaging with you and I am going to know about it" way. You post a photo. Within minutes, they text you. Not about the photo, about who liked it. Who's that? You do not know if they screen recorded your story list. You do not know if they noticed that specific person commenting, but you know they might have. And so you start making decisions with that in mind. You stop liking certain posts. You start your captions differently. You take down a photo that got more attention than felt comfortable. They never asked you to do any of this. You just did it, because the possibility of being watched changed your behavior. That is the panopticon. There is also the inverse version, the story watch. They go quiet in real life, but they watch every single one of your stories within 30 seconds. It is the digital version of surveillance from a distance. They are not there, but they are everywhere, and you feel it. One person on a Reddit thread about covert control wrote something that has stayed with me. They said, "I thought it was love that he always watched my stories. It was only after I broke up with him that I realized he watched them to monitor me, not because he missed me. He would still watch them for 2 months after we split, and I was still making content with him in mind." Orbiting as control, presence as surveillance, love as a security camera. Number 4, they isolate you but make it look like they are protecting you. This one is the most insidious of all the tactics, because it sounds like care. "I just do not like how that friend treats you. You deserve better people around you." Your family kind of stress you out. Have you noticed how much lighter you feel when it is just us? I am not saying do not go. I just think they are a bad influence on you. You always come back from those nights feeling off. None of these statements require you to cut off anyone. They are not instructions. They are observations. But they are very carefully targeted observations designed to make you start questioning every relationship in your life that is not them. This is called progressive isolation, and it works incredibly slowly. You do not notice it because each individual moment has plausible deniability. They are not stopping you from seeing your friends. They are just sharing their concerns as a partner because they care. But over 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, the circle gets smaller. The friends you used to text every day become people you have to remember to check in with. The family members who used to feel like your safe place start to feel like subjects you have to navigate carefully around them. And then one day something goes wrong, in the relationship or just in your life, and you look around for your support system and it is thin. It used to not be thin. You remember it not being thin, but it got thin so gradually you did not notice. And now you are alone, except for them, which was the plan. I know that sounds dramatic. I know some of you are reading this going, that cannot be intentional. And honestly, sometimes it is not. Some people who isolate their partners do it from fear, not from strategy. But here is what I need you to understand. The outcome is identical. Whether they planned it or not, you end up with fewer people and more dependence on one person. And that dependence is control, intentional or not. Number 5, the joke that is not a joke. I'm just kidding. Oh my God, you are so sensitive. It was a joke, babe. Can you not take a joke? I cannot say anything around you without you getting upset. It was literally just a joke. Here is the thing about the joke that is not a joke. The joke reveals something real. The joke tests whether you will accept something, and then the punchline insulates it from accountability. This shows up in tiny ways that are easy to dismiss. A comment about how you ate, a dig about your career, a quip about your intelligence when you get something wrong, a comment about your appearance that is technically a compliment but lands like a quiet insult. You look so much better when you wear your hair like that. These are not random. They are not clumsy. They are calibrated. Because after enough of them, you start to believe the content of the jokes. You start to feel slightly lesser, slightly inadequate, slightly like someone who should be grateful that this person, who is funnier and sharper and maybe just a little bit more together than you, chose you. And grateful people do not leave. Grateful people do not make demands. Grateful people ask less. Grateful people are much easier to control. Researcher Brené Brown talks about this in terms of shame as a tool of control. When you can make someone feel small enough, consistently enough, they lose their sense of deserving anything different. The joke is not funny. The joke is a delivery mechanism. Number 6, they control the narrative. This one might be the most disorienting of all of them because it makes you doubt your own mind. Here is the scenario. Something happens between you. Maybe they said something hurtful. Maybe they canceled plans again. Maybe they crossed a line. You bring it up carefully because you have learned to be careful. And then somehow, by the end of the conversation has become about something you did. Something from 3 weeks ago. Something you thought was resolved. And you are now apologizing. And the original thing you brought up is just gone. This is narrative control. And in 2026, it has a new dimension because so much of our communication happens in writing, on text, on voice notes, on DMs, which means they can literally screenshot and reframe. They can screenshot a conversation and show it to people, or threaten to, presenting it without context to paint you as the difficult one. They can pull up a text you sent months ago to reframe who started something. They can go back through your message history to find the thing that makes you look bad and hold it up as evidence. You start to become aware that you are creating a paper trail, and that awareness changes how you communicate. You start typing and deleting. You choose words more carefully. You stop saying the full honest thing because you know it could be used later. This is control through the archive, through the knowledge that everything you say is potentially evidence. And here is the thing. The gaslighting version of this does not need screenshots. It just needs a confident enough delivery. That is not what I said. You are remembering it wrong. That never happened. Said with enough certainty, enough times, you start to wonder. You start to keep your own receipts. You start screenshotting your own conversations to prove to yourself that your memory is correct. You are not crazy. You are just documenting your own sanity because someone is trying to take it from you. Number 7. Love as leverage. After everything I have done for you, I would never do that to you. I guess I just care more than you do. This is perhaps the most quietly devastating tactic of all, because it weaponizes the thing that is supposed to be unconditional. Love is not supposed to have a ledger. Love is not supposed to come with a running tab of what you owe and what they are owed. Love is not supposed to be the currency with which compliance is purchased. But quiet control uses love as exactly that. Every gesture is placed on a scale. Every act of care is noted. And when you step out of line, when you say no to something, when you make a choice they do not like, when you dare to have a need that costs them something, the ledger comes out. I canceled my plans for you. I was there for you when nobody else was. Do you know how much I have given up? And you feel guilty. Because you do love them, and because they do things for you. And so the boundary you were about to draw dissolves. The thing you were about to say does not get said, and the control tightens another notch without a single instruction being given. This is called relational coercion, and it is everywhere. In romantic relationships, in friendships, in family dynamics. The person who has done the most for you tells you what they expect in return, not explicitly, but in 100 small ways that accumulate into a debt you can never fully repay. You cannot love someone free if they have made love into a currency. So now let me tell you what all of this looks like put together in a real life. You wake up, and before you have had coffee, you are already checking to see if they messaged overnight. Not because you are excited to talk to them, because you need to calibrate. Is today a good day? Is today a bad day? What version of them am I getting? You are at work and a name comes up in conversation. You feel a small spike of anxiety. Not about that person, about whether you have to tell your partner and how that conversation will go. Your friend invites you to something, a birthday, a night out, something that would have, 6 months ago, been an automatic yes. And now you do a whole invisible calculation. How will I tell them? What mood are they in? Is this worth the energy of the potential fallout? And you say maybe, or you say, I will check, and you already know you are not going to go. Your phone buzzes while you are with them, and you angle the screen away from them without thinking. Not because you are hiding anything, because you have learned that showing your phone creates conversations you do not want to have. You used to have opinions, strong ones. You used to argue your case. Now you notice yourself pre-softening everything. You notice yourself ending statements with, but maybe I am wrong, or that is just my perspective, before anyone has disagreed with you. You used to take up space. You used to walk into rooms. Lately, you feel like you are fitting into a container whose shape you did not choose. Here are the questions I want you to sit with. Not with them, by yourself, or with someone safe. Do you feel more or less like yourself than you did a year ago? Can you make a decision, any decision, without first imagining their reaction? When is the last time you did something that was purely for you, with no calculation involved? If this relationship ended tomorrow, would you feel sadness, or would some part of you feel relief? Do you find yourself explaining this person to others more than you expected to? You do not have to answer those to anyone, but I want you to notice if you cannot answer them honestly, because the inability to answer them honestly is its own kind of data. Here is the thing I want to say that most content in this space does not say, because it is complicated. Most of the people who do these things are not cartoon villains. Most of them do not wake up in the morning and think, today I am going to quietly dismantle someone's sense of self. A lot of them are scared. A lot of them are running old patterns from childhoods that did not give them the tools for real intimacy. A lot of them do genuinely love the people they are controlling. But love does not cancel impact. Intention does not undo damage. And you are not required to set yourself on fire to keep someone warm just because they are cold. You are also not required to diagnose your situation perfectly before you are allowed to act on it. You do not need to have a certified 12-point list of evidence that you are being controlled before you are allowed to feel that something is wrong. Your gut is already telling you something. You are watching this video because your gut is already telling you something. And the thing your gut is saying is worth listening to. Now let me tell you about Mia again. She eventually told her best friend. Not everything, just enough. And her best friend said something that Mia later described as the most important thing anyone had ever said to her. She said, "You seem smaller than you used to be." Not broken, not abused, not a victim, just smaller. And Mia cried for an hour because she knew exactly what that meant. And she also knew it was true. She did not leave that night. These things are never that clean. But she started to notice, and noticing is the first act of reclamation. Noticing is the first time you step back inside yourself. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to be difficult. You are allowed to have needs and opinions and friends and a wardrobe that is yours and a phone screen that is yours and a Thursday night that is yours. You are allowed to be a whole person in a relationship, not a smaller person in one. And if someone's love requires you to be smaller, then the question is not whether they love you. The question is whether that is love. If you are going through something heavy right now, please talk to someone you trust. Not them. Someone outside of it. A friend who knew you before. A counselor. A family member. If you are in Australia, 1-800-RESPECT is available 24/7 at 1-800-737-732. For international support, findahelpline.com will connect you to resources in your country. You are not dramatic. You are not too sensitive. You are not imagining it. You are just finally paying attention.